Welcome to today's 3D print. This is cool. I think this is one of the favorite things that I've ever printed on this printer, and it came out spectacular. This is the printed vise, thing number 1572431. It was made by diodepress. It is a 3D printed vise. It is modified from actual plans, blueprints, whatever you call them, from someone named Tom over at oxtolls. So check out oxtollco.com. He has a video as well. He took this into SolidWorks. This was originally many parts made to be machined out of metal. He took it into SolidWorks and redesigned it to be 3D printed. And it 3D prints in a surprisingly small number of parts. The handle here is 2 parts, the shaft plus the cap. Then you have the locking collar, you have the lead screw, and then you have the 2 halves of the vise. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. That's all there is. And I mean, this really isn't 2 parts. I mean, it's just the handle. This was the hardest part to print, actually. I'll get more to that in a minute. But check this out. First, the lead screw went in like butter. Spun right in. I was actually pushing on it to get it to go in, thinking it wasn't going in, but it went in so smoothly, so much like butter, that I didn't even recognize that the little bugger had gone in. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It works that well. That's how wide you can go. I don't know how big that is. Let's find out. I can go a little wider, but you're starting to get to the end of the threads, so I don't like to go wider than that. And there's something wrong with my calipers. There we go. That is 58 millimeters. You can go 58 millimeters with this. And it's got a surprising amount of torque. The lead bolt printed perfectly, threaded in perfectly. It was a little difficult to insert this into this. Part of that problem was that my bottom layers, as you can see right here, if you look closely, my bottom layers splay out a little bit because I squish them really good when I print, and that gives me really, really good adherence to the print bed when I print in PEI. So I had to take a knife and scratch that wider bottom layer away, and then it inserted just fine. It was a little tight. You can well, I can't show you now because it's already screwed together, but inserting it was a little tough, and then you have to wiggle it and pull it out, insert it again, wiggle it, pull it out, and you keep doing it over and over and over again until it goes in relatively effortlessly, because you don't want it to be too difficult to extract this half of the vise, or you could break the lead screw. As you can see, this goes in with almost no effort. It is absolutely stunning how well this thing works. I threaded bolts in first into the plastic, and as soon as I felt the give, stopped. And I used a longer bolt than I was going to use finally, and then I put a slightly shorter bolt in so I wouldn't hit the bottom, and stripped the plastic, and that went together perfectly, no problems. Little overhang problems here, not much, not a big deal. What's really cool though is that I absolutely love the support structure that this printed. Let me show you. That's the support it printed for this. I probably didn't need anywhere near this much support for this part, but it was going to be unattended and I didn't want it to fail, so I let it auto support it. I was like, screw it. It's a tiny amount of plastic in the bigger picture of things, but check this out. That is amazing. I love that. I think that is so cool how that just fits there. And so I just took a lighter to this, melted it into one piece. No problem, done. The rest of it, almost no cleanup at all. No cleanup for the lead screw. The lead screw printed perfectly. The only support I had for the lead screw was to fill in that channel between this section and the gap for the other section that the locking collar locks into. I don't want to take it apart again because I know these are threaded into plastic, but you can see the individual parts on the Thingiverse page. This is amazing. I mean, I would not try printing this until your printer is well tuned, or you're going to have a lot of cleanup work trying to get these parts to fit together. I do notice there is a little bit of play here, and it's equal on both sides. So now that this is working really, really well together, I think I'm going to try taking it apart again and putting a very, very small shim along this so I have a little less play. I would just prefer a little less play. It's no big deal, but I would just prefer a little less now that I know it works so well. I also think I'm going to drill these holes a little deeper into the plastic so that I can use a longer screw. Use a very small drill bit so I can maintain the threading. And I want to use a longer screw so it's biting on